Nofap, hard mode, monk mode, god mode, brahmacharya, semen retention, Taoist retention, Akhanda brahmacharya, retention, beast mode. The list goes on. There's so many fields within this field, and to those new to the world of Nofap, semen retention, and all such practices, this may be confusing, but we'll do our best to simplify it for you today. Some view this as the weird world of semen retention, and others swear by it. For me, I will personally agree with those who say it is weird. Semen retention and Nofap are so weird. Those who do this practice are not normal at all. If you get on this train and get this aspect of your life in order, you will be so unstoppable that yes, it will be weird. You will be so out of everyone's league that you engage with that again, it will be weird. There will be no competition. You will be in a situation where everyone around you seems brutally incompetent in comparison to you. And again, yes, that will be very weird. So let's talk about normal real quick. Normal people masturbate regularly. Normal people spend 4 hours a day or more mindlessly scrolling social media. Normal people make $50,000 to $200,000 a year. Normal people get involved in a henpecked marital situation in which they have no say in anything and often spend their life working at miserable jobs, doing something they hate, only to drink their sorrows away on the weekend and return to the same boring, miserable loop. But normal people do get to wear the badge that they are not weird. So if you want to be normal, then by all means, turn off this video. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and keep fapping, because continuing here will make you very weird. But to those whose eyes are open enough to see the truth, being weird in this day and age is actually a good thing. And if you are still here, congrats. Welcome to the 0.001%. Just make sure to stay tuned until the end, because we're going to go over the history of these paths and some of the key terminology to put you in context so you don't feel confused anymore, and simplify the world of Nofap and semen retention into a few different paths that anyone who is interested in changing their lives can use to achieve success in all things. I've been in this community for almost 7 years and have dialed all of this into my life to achieve my dreams, and I believe that anyone can do the same thing. All you will need is yourself and a strong sense of self-control, which will actually be developed as well on this journey. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all the bells and whistles so you can stay up to date with our content, and we will definitely continue to release more videos like this one. The Nofap community started gaining traction after the groundbreaking work of Dr. Gary Wilson, who authored Your Brain on Porn. Dr. Wilson's research shed light on the negative impacts of modern pornography on the brain. He explained how today's high-speed internet porn is far more stimulating and accessible than anything our ancestors had ever encountered. This constant barrage of highly stimulating material floods the brain with dopamine, the pleasure neurotransmitter, creating an addiction that rewires the brain's reward system. Dr. Wilson's findings show how excessive porn consumption leads to a range of issues, from decreased motivation and anxiety to erectile dysfunction and depression. His work resonated with many, sparking a movement where individuals committed to abstaining from porn and masturbation to reclaim their mental and physical health. As more people shared their success stories of improved relationships, increased energy, and better mental clarity, the Nofap community grew exceptionally. The community is built on mutual support and accountability, with members encouraging each other to break free from the grip of porn addiction. This movement has not only helped countless individuals to improve their personal lives, but also raised awareness about the hidden dangers of modern pornography. By understanding the science behind porn's impact on the brain, the Nofap community continues to inspire many to pursue a healthier, more fulfilling lifestyle. In the Nofap community, understanding the key terminology is crucial for navigating the journey to recovery. One of the most common terms is PMO, which stands for porn masturbation orgasm. This trio is what individuals aim to avoid when they commit to Nofap. A slip, quote-unquote, refers to a momentary lapse where one might engage in porn or masturbation but doesn't view it as a complete failure. On the other hand, a relapse is when someone fully returns to old habits, breaking their streak of abstinence. Edging is another important term to understand. It involves stimulating oneself to the brink of orgasm without actually reaching it. While some might think this is an acceptable way to manage urges, it's generally considered a form of relapse by any credible members of the Nofap community. The reason is that edging still triggers the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine and potentially reigniting addictive behaviors. Furthermore, in doing this, the practitioner is engaging in actual masturbation and looking at porn. Getting away from these is exactly the point of getting into Nofap. Therefore, it's crucial to avoid edging to maintain a clean streak and make meaningful progress. Monk mode, or hard mode, was originally used to describe the act of quitting sex along with quitting porn. This approach is for those who want to take their commitment to the next level by abstaining from all forms of sexual activity. However, the definition of monk mode has evolved. Nowadays, it often refers to a period of dedicated focus on work and personal development, emphasizing the importance of eliminating distractions to achieving one's goals. This new definition resonates more with me personally because it highlights the essence of what monk mode should be, using self-discipline to enhance productivity and growth. Another reason I don't favor hard mode in and of itself is that simply doing Nofap without sex and ejaculation is an unclear practice. On this channel, we promote two types of semen retention: Taoist retention and Akhanda brahmacharya. Akhanda brahmacharya is the sublimation of all your sexual impulses in word, thought, and deed. This, of course, involves complete abstinence from all things sex, but the focus is on the sublimation of the impulses. Abstinence without sublimation is essentially useless. Taoist retention, on the other hand, allows for a balanced sex life. It involves ejaculation frequency schedules, orgasm without ejaculation, and alchemical tactics to manage urges that occur between sexual encounters. These are both well-defined practices, whereas the older idea of Nofap without sex, or hard mode, left out all the good stuff that makes these practices both blissful and doable. As a result, someone who does hard mode without adequately learning about semen retention and practicing according to one of these schools of thought will simply be restraining themselves, and as a result, will become angry all the time. Inexperienced retainers often confuse this anger with the bliss that myself and other experienced retainers point to when we speak on this topic. If you're merely restraining yourself, you're going to suffer unnecessarily. If you're doing the hardest part and refraining from sex on top of Nofap, you might as well add the tactics and practices that make cutting out sex blissful. Otherwise, you might be better off just doing Nofap and continuing with a sex life. There are two kinds of people going into Nofap: those with an addiction and those looking for a boost and self-help but not truly addicted. Both will benefit from this path. However, I warn against having sex early in Nofap if you have a real addiction and aren't just using Nofap for a boost. This is because you're at high risk of substituting porn addiction for sex addiction. If this happens, you will be in a very bad situation. Therefore, we urge those new to Nofap to initially do a 6-month God mode rewire. Most Nofap pundits agree with the rewire. We simply take it a step further by making it a God mode rewire with sublimation, because that, my friends, will rid you of the porn habit once and for all. PMO starts with a thought. In God mode, you actively sublimate all sexual thoughts, learning to cut off at the root the very bubble of the urges that lead to fapping. This is crucial if you want to rid yourself of PMO once and for all. After this rewire is done, you can practice Taoist retention and have an active sex life that follows an ejaculation frequency schedule that has been tried and tested for millennia and designed to keep your chi in balance. You can have this area in check and maintain a balanced sex life. You don't have to become a hermit. I have experience with all these paths and have been in this community for 7 years. I've followed every single one of these paths, made the hard mode mistake, and gotten angry and bitter at life. I've done Taoist retention, God mode, Nofap, hard mode, all of them. This is why my content varies tremendously on this channel. In one video, I may teach dating tactics and pickup for those on Taoist retention, while in another, I may promote complete sexual sublimation and brahmacharya, advising not even looking at or thinking about sex. This variation is by design, because I've experienced all of these and have developed a flow for how I use them in my life. And I know that everyone is different, so some may not need one thing or another, so I tried to make this so everyone can take what they can and leave the rest. I also know that this flow I use can help anyone to achieve their goals. I discovered the God mode rewire by accident. I used to relapse regularly and could never retain for more than 2 to 3 weeks at a time. Worse, I would get wet dreams. Wet dreams aren't that bad, they only set you back a few days at worst, but for me, they would be followed by uncontrollable urges. Then, I read Swami Shivananda's Practice of Brahmacharya and implemented a lot of what he said, devising some of my own sublimation tactics. I was able to go 90 plus days without even having one wet dream. After that, I met a woman and the streak ended, but I never fapped again and have since done 1.5 plus years on God mode at one point. I have never breached my Taoist retention ejaculation frequency schedule since this initial God mode rewire. I know from this that anyone can get over PMO. I was a hopeless case and it worked for me. It took me a little less, but may take some a little more. 6 months is a sweet spot of safety. I have changed my life, attained financial wealth, and am in the best shape of my life at 43. There are many different people and many different situations. We will do our best to categorize the majority and cover the intricacies so everyone can know how to approach this. If you want to have this area in check and rise to the pinnacle of success as a fapping addict or even someone who is in a bad position in life, then the God mode rewire into Taoist retention / Nofap for life is critical. We already covered how it will help addicts, but for those in a bad position, God mode speeds everything up. You guys that fall into this category are not even in an okay position. So you need to take drastic action and you need to take it quickly. You will be in a much better position faster if you do this, so God mode is the very drastic action that will send you to success from failure quickly. If you are in an okay position in life, then there are two paths depending on who you are. If spirituality is a top goal, and you have, for example, considered monkhood at some point, then you should plan on God mode for 12 years. 12 years of Akhanda Brahmacharya will build a spiritual force or ojas and develop the Medha Nadi, which is an energetic channel which is needed for enlightenment. I don't want to say that you have to do God mode for enlightenment, because many Sufis and Taoists have realized without it. But without it, maybe you will, maybe you won't. With it, if you genuinely practice for 12 years, you will super speed what is often a many lifetime course into a 12-year period and are virtually guaranteed to reach your goal. If you are in an okay position in life and not that into spirituality on that level, but merely wanting to upgrade your situation with retention, then Taoist retention is a good option. You can get this area in check, get spiritual balance, and also maintain a healthy sex life. You also have a clear definition of what a healthy sex life is, so as to know that you are actually succeeding. You will get all the material benefits that come from being in balance. Trust me. Again, if you are in a bad position or new to Nofap, especially as an addict, you should do what I did, the God mode rewire into Taoist retention and Nofap for life. This approach will ensure that you tackle the addiction head on and then transition into a balanced and healthy lifestyle that promotes both personal and spiritual growth. So welcome to the weird world of semen retention. As stated earlier, you will definitely be weird. But, as also stated earlier, being normal nowadays sucks, so being weird is actually a good thing. This isn't for everyone, and some are in different positions, needing different courses of action. We covered most general cases here today, so I hope you have a good understanding of how you want to proceed. On the topic of Nofap versus semen retention, I personally believe that the two are inseparable for most people. If you aim to stop fapping, you need to clearly define how you will keep your sex life in check, especially if you are an addict. Overindulging in sex can destroy your energies and make you miserable, even for non-addicts. However, there's a specific group I haven't mentioned yet. Those who are in a good position in life, who don't fap excessively, who aren't addicts, and who simply want to quit fapping for a boost, maybe more time, or any other reason. If you're in this category and you stumbled upon this video, you can probably just do Nofap, continue dating, and not look back. It likely won't be that difficult. Just make sure not to overdo it with the women. For everyone else, check out the top video for a deep dive on God mode, or the bottom video for the most important part of Taoist retention, in my opinion, the ejaculation frequency schedules.